Welcome to Forterra's annual Conservation Awards. These awards honor people and organizations who are conserving great lands and building great communities. Here are this year's award winners. The Community Service Award goes to the Washington Trails Association for their great work preserving and promoting hiking opportunities in the state.
One of the things that Washington is blessed with is trails in all kinds of environments. There's so much that's so accessible to such a large population. It's great. We've got waterfalls and mountain vistas and wildlife and wildflowers. You know, all the trailheads are within an hour of Seattle.
You're going to need a saw for that baby.
One of the key things we need to do is make sure that the trails we've got stay open so that people can really experience the wilderness. I mean, it's great to know it's out there, but it's even better to get kids and adults and families out to experience it up close and personal.
WTA, truly, it is the leading nonprofit for trails in the nation, bar none, yet we're totally under the radar screen.
We can get 20 feet finished trail per person. That's a good day's work.
Rain or shine, our volunteers are out every single day, 104,000 hours of volunteer time throughout the year. 2,600 volunteers, just amazing. People that would rather be out working on a trail than anything else, and they come back again and again.
We have a huge youth program. About 10% of our total hours last year were put in by teenagers under 18 working on trails. At the end of the day, you can look back and see, yeah, that's what we did today.
Forterra and Washington Trails Association both are about healthy living, protecting the environment, protecting the places that mean so very much to us.
The New Directions for Livable Communities Award goes to the Seattle Center.
Everybody's planning to see Seattle's spectacular $100 million World's Fair.
See you at the fair in Seattle in the summer of 6062. We'll preview the space age, the world of tomorrow. I'll be sharing here with you.
At last, the Seattle World's Fair.
So many people, whether through themselves or through a degree of separation, have a memory of the fair. So all of a sudden 50 years doesn't seem that long ago. And so how do we take advantage of that and not only look back 50 years, but look forward 50 years? And that would give us a 100-year horizon in order to think about our community and what's best for us.
For me, is that feeling about what the next 50 holds and what it could mean for our community as we go forward is really the thing that excites me, because I don't know what that is. As we evolve, we want to make sure that this is much more of a town square for people. We want to make sure that this is much more of an everyday place, and that's a wonderful challenge. For us, it's about the connections. It's about building community.
I think that it's important that this celebration isn't about new buildings, because 50 years ago that was the future, and now the repurposing and the rethinking is more what we need to be doing. We think of the landscape at Seattle Center as the connective tissue, as the fabric, and so a lot of our energy goes into the open space. As the dense neighborhoods of South Lake Union, Uptown, the Denny Broad Aurora Triangle come to us, we're going to be their park. We're going to be their daily jaunt. And that's where probably the most interesting growth potential is for us looking into the future.
I happen to believe that Seattle Center is part of what makes our community great. It was 50 years ago when we invited the world to discover our community as the Seattle World's Fair. And I think we've spent the last 50 years trying to continue to have it grow and evolve into a place that is considered the heart of our community.
The Innovative Conservation Project Award goes to South Central Washington Resource and Conservation Development, with special recognition to the Yakima Nation for the Reecer Creek Floodplain Enhancement Project.
I want to thank everyone for coming out today. There's a really long list of partners in this project. It's been a real benefit to fish. We've seen fish coming back. There's been coho spawning in the stream already, and steelhead coming back this year for the first time.
For about 100 years, Reecer Creek traveled in a straight alignment between Ellensburg's Dollarway Road and the Yakima River with a levee on its east side. And so as part of this project, we set that levee back, opening up 58 acres of floodplain habitat, and then excavated a new floodplain and meandering stream channel to enhance a full mile of rearing habitat for coho and steelhead juveniles.
The idea was not to create a new ditch to put a stream in, but to create a shallow, sinuous channel that if the stream wanted to, could move around. And as soon as it got up a little bit higher and flood stage, it would go, it would flood, it would access the floodplain that it hasn't had ability to access for 100 years. So we knew that we had something we could restore and provide even more habitat.
The goal, of course, is always, has to be to keep the cost down and to get the most for the money that's spent. And this project really is outstanding in that regard.
I think one of the key ways that this overlaps with Forterra's work is really the way people have pulled together and the collaborative nature of the project.
For me, it's creating great places. It's in the city, it's open space, it's a recreational opportunity, it's fish and wildlife. This will be a jewel for the citizens of Ellensburg for a long time.
The completion of the Reecer Creek Floodplain Enhancement Project.
The John Stanford Educational Achievement Award goes to E3 Washington for integrating education, environment, and economy for a sustainable future for all.
Ew, you don't have no gloves on? No! because it helps the garden. Yeah, and it's an earthworm when it poops.
So many of these ideas, like let's take care of where we live and let's grow together, those are kindergarten ideas. Like that's what kids go to kindergarten to learn, and somehow we forget that. And I think that children are very, very much attuned to these very simple and open ideas.
What is that?
Let me see. Our name is E3 Washington, Education, Environment, Economy, and the intersection between those three words is really the future. Every cell in their body, every thought in their mind is about the future and their future. And at the same time, they are engaged in now. They understand systems in a way that adults have unlearned. So children are closer to nature. It is a way of doing education that gets people out of the classroom into their communities, into the natural and built environment, real world, hands-on, interdisciplinary, applied learning.
Oh, look at it, it's like slime!
There actually is a fourth E that is sort of embedded in the three E's, and that's equity and inclusion. The whole effort is very inclusive. We've reached out to the tribes, we've reached out to educators, we've reached out to community leaders, to activists, because through a very diverse and inclusive approach, we think we'll have a much more informed and better decision towards the goal of long-term sustainability.
My dad says it pretty well in that we weren't invited to the dessert this time, we were invited to the main course, the dinner, to be involved in that planning process. And I think that's important because, we do have all this indigenous traditional knowledge that we hold.
It's almost a little bit dangerous because the mission and the vision and the potential of E3 is just enormous.
There's a bird! It's on the range right there.